Good morning and welcome to the final 5-Cent Cigar newscast of the 2022 spring semester. I'm Imani Fleming. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up this week, a look into the university's year-long efforts in limiting the spread of COVID-19. Then, the URI Pharmacy Development Institute's week-long open house forums that showcase the PDI program and its offerings. Also, a glimpse into the life of a Rhody athlete currently balancing academics, athletics, and being a new parent. Finally, a bittersweet farewell to two of 5CCN's senior reporters who reflect on their time at URI while looking ahead to their careers in journalism. And as always, make sure to stick around for your Rhody Sports Corner. Throughout the 2021-2022 school year, the University of Rhode Island has continued following CDC and state guidelines in order to prevent the mass spread of the coronavirus on campus. With updates in masking indoors and changes in the testing policy, URI's senior leadership and COVID-19 task force feel the community is moving in a new direction with lessening restrictions. Erin Brown spoke with medical director Dr. Christopher Nason to find out more.
Over the course of the semester, the University of Rhode Island has adjusted to a new normal with the COVID-19 pandemic. I talked to Health Services Medical Director Dr. Nason to find out more about how the university feels about the pandemic.
I think it's going really well. I think in general, if you look at what's happening in America right now, COVID is definitely, we're doing better with the pandemic. We're becoming more of an endemic state as opposed to the pandemic state. And so at this point, I like to refocus people's thoughts on the pandemic and remind them that at this point, because of our successful vaccination campaigns to include the booster, and because of good supply of effective therapeutics, we're in a much different place than we were 2 years ago. Our numbers are really quite a bit lower. And if you look at the volume of testing we're doing, as you probably realize, we've taken the testing out of the Memorial Union, and now it's across the street at the testing trailer. And it's just because we've reduced the volume of testing quite a bit. So it's a much better place now than it was.
Over the course of the semester, URI has changed COVID protocol, with the university loosening the campus mask mandate indoors in early March, eventually leaving mask requirements up to professors in their classes.
Using those CDC criteria and knowing that we're in a low-risk category right now for the state of Rhode Island, and looking at ample hospital beds, very few people in the hospital, very few people on ventilators, and very few people dying. It's those kind of metrics that we use to say, you know what, it's actually safe to take off your mask now.
Many students are happy about the university's decision, while others still choose to stay masked.
I feel good about it. I think it's about time. It's going to be around forever at some point. You got to just bite the bullet here. Those things weren't too effective anyways, especially if you don't have to wear them here or the dining hall. And then when you go to class, you got to put one on. Seems a bit arbitrary to me. So, yeah,
Dr. Nason left me with some parting thoughts.
No, again, just thanking the community for all of their patience and their willingness to help save our community. They did great work. They should be proud. Again, if you haven't gotten boosted, get your booster. If you're sick, get tested. And I just wish everyone a successful end to their spring semester and looking forward to a wonderful fall semester.
Erin Brown, 5-Cent Cigar News.
The Pharmacy Development Institute at URI is holding a series of open houses this week that gives industry professionals, the campus community, and the public a peek into the world of biopharmaceutical education and development. Alexa Potamianos tells us more about what is being included in the tours and how these forums are benefiting the university.
The Pharmaceutical Development Institute is currently offering open house sessions for faculty to tour and experience missions and research occurring. I spoke with Director of the PDI, George Grandolfi, to learn more.
The PDI is designed to assist undergraduate and graduate students. That's our internal training mission. We also have an external training mission whereby we have a number of sessions, workshops that we've put together that we offer to pharmaceutical companies in the region. And finally, we have a 7,000 square foot manufacturing area in the lower level of Avedisian Hall that we're using to do contract development and manufacturing for pharmaceutical industry, for entrepreneurs, for small startup companies. So those are our basic missions for the PDI. But we wanted to give folks a hands-on look at exactly how the process runs. So when our tour groups come through, we give them a packet of drug substance. Actually, it's a placebo, but it acts as a mock drug. They bring that drug to the PDI. We formulate that into a granulated material. We use all of the equipment that we would normally use during a development or manufacturing process. We have tablet presses that we demonstrate in front of our live audience, and we have film coating capabilities whereby we coat the tablets that we just made with a Kini blue or Rhody blue film coating. The next step is we have a 1,500 square foot analytical chemistry quality control laboratory where our tour group takes the final tablets up to the laboratory where they're tested. So some of the other opportunities that we have for the Pharmaceutical Development Institute, our operations are developing a workforce for the state of Rhode Island and surrounding region. It's everything from training new employees to employees in the state of Rhode Island that would like to enhance or redirect their career.
Alexa Potamianos, 5 Cent Cigar News.
Many URI students spend a lot of time juggling more than just classes and homework, including third-year student Kevin Brown. Sophia Szabo sat down with the URI student and football player to discuss some pretty big changes in his life, including the birth of his newborn son and how he's managing to balance it all.
Being a student athlete is one thing, but being a student athlete with a newborn baby is another. This is the reality for Kevin Brown, who is the running back of URI's football team. A force on the field, a family man at heart. The newest addition to the family, his son, Weston, who just turned 1 month old.
It's not something that you can ever say you are ready for.
Kevin grew up in Dorchester, Massachusetts as the second oldest of 8 kids.
I have a lot of younger siblings, so kind of taking care of a child is kind of like my younger siblings, because I had to do that stuff before.
Brown's father passed away when he was in high school. This pushed him into a parental role for his younger siblings.
If he had to have his diaper changed, or she had to have her diaper changed, or she needs to have a bottle or something like that, it was just natural.
Brown says that his father is still his biggest motivator.
Hard work was one of his biggest things. If there's something that you want in this life, if you don't work hard, you'll never get it.
The workload isn't easy.
Something's due throughout the week, you have to try to get that down or done before he wakes up.
But he finds a way to multitask.
I have one hand, I'm holding him, and he's sleeping. I could just type. But
while he enters this new phase of life, he reminds himself of what is important.
They're 1. Football's, school's 2, football's 3. But
family, school, football?
Yeah, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
This past season, Kevin Brown was injured with a torn ACL. He will make a full recovery and be back on the field by August, just in time for next season. In Kingston, I'm Sophia Szabo for the 5 Cent Cigar Newscast.
And now over to our sports editor, Aniekan Okon, with your Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Imani. Hello and welcome back to another edition of your Rhody Sports Corner. Last week, we told you about the latest addition on the men's basketball team. This week, it was the women's team that reloaded their roster. Head coach Tammy Reese announced Monday the addition of 4 players to her roster. The group is headlined by reigning A-10 Sixth Woman of the Year, Emma Squires, who dropped 27 points against the Rams back in February. Madison Haddock Covington, Tenin Magassa, and Annette Adler will also join the Rams next season. To the gridiron, the URI football team are coming off their best season in 20 years after winning 7 games last season. Fast forward a few months later, the work has already begun for the 2022 season. We got a chance to see it this past weekend when the team concluded spring practices with their annual blue-white spring game. The offense wearing Kini blue while the defense wore navy blue. No Kasim Hill in this one. Instead, it was Kanique Bonner-Stewart under center. Here he finds Paul Woods for the touchdown. Later on, the offense would get it done on the ground. Jalen Smith takes the handoff and sprints 50 yards down the left sideline for the score. But it would be the defense that would reign supreme. The offense now attempting a field goal. Wesley Neal gets his hands on the kick and the football is recovered by linebacker Christian Arrington. Later on, Bonner Stewart's pass is intercepted by Michael Strachan. The defense went on to win this one 49-35. Afterwards, Jim Fleming said he was pleased on what he saw on the field from both units.
Looking for 60 snaps, which is, I think we got right at it. I wanted to see competitiveness on both sides of the ball, and I think that showed up. So there was a lot to learn off of it, but I feel we accomplished what we wanted. We know what we have as a starting quarterback. We wanted to see, who could compete to be able to be, in the backup role coming into the fall. And, now it's a question of putting them together, building the bodies throughout the summer, getting them in training camp, and then go be stoned. That really becomes the focus.
And for one final time this semester, let's take a look at the rest of your scores around Kingston. The women's track and field team finished third at the Holy Cross Invitational. Baseball dropped the contest Tuesday at Boston College 5-3. And finally, the tennis team's season came to an unfortunate end Wednesday after they fell in the first round of the A10 championships to George Washington. Again, for one final time this semester, this is your Rhody Sports Corner. Back to you.
With the end of the school year just around the corner, it's almost that time to begin the goodbyes and see you laters, starting with two longtime friends and reporters of the Cigar, Layla Cox and Sophia Szabo. I spoke with the soon-to-be graduates about how their journeys at URI have prepared them for careers in the field and looked back at some of their most fond memories from the last 4 years. Take a look. Layla Cox has worn many hats during her time at URI, including Director of Communications on Student Senate, co-founder of the Black Student Union, and reporter at the Cigar.
I'm really going to miss the time that I've had with the Cigar and the people that I've been able to connect with. I think URI has some of the most profound student journalists on campus, and being involved in the Cigar has allowed me to intersect my passions with my aspirations in my career life, which is to be a journalist. So through the Cigar, I've talked about things like mental health. I've just talked about LGBTQ+ community issues. I've brought light to a lot of social justice issues that are happening on campus, whether it's through interviews that I've conducted for the Cigar or anchoring for the Newscast, or actually writing the very few articles that I have. I've enjoyed my time a lot, just being able to be in an environment with student journalists that always want to talk about the important issues on campus.
She hopes to one day host her own talk show focusing on issues relating to mental health and social justice within marginalized communities.
My ultimate career goal is to have my own talk show where I'm continuing to talk about issues within society pertaining to the things that I've discussed within the Cigar, like mental health, social justice, advocacy.
She says one of her favorite stories she's worked on relates to the LGBTQ+ community at URI.
I wrote a print story and a news package for the annual LGBTQ+ town hall at the Gender and Sexuality Center.
Cox says she intends to stay connected to those peers she's taken inspiration from throughout the years.
The thing that I'm going to miss the most are the people that I've been able to create long-lasting relationships with. I know that when I leave, I'm confident that when I leave that I'll have a network of inspirational journalists that want to continue to do the work outside after they graduate.
The legacy she leaves behind is sure to impact future students and students of color at URI.
I poured my heart and soul into this community for students of color on campus to feel safe, because I feel like it's way too normalized for students of color to not feel accepted at predominantly white institutions. So when it comes to amplifying student voices, it also comes with educating yourself. So in order to amplify and to bring attention and bring light and bring a voice and make a voice to the voiceless, you have to be aware of what's going on. And because my identity is so intersected with the issues that students of color experience on campus, it just kind of was natural for me to always bring the issues up. And through my disciplines of studying communications and journalism, it just made it even more easier.
For Sophia Szabo, television news is where she aspires to be, something realized early on during her time in the Cigar.
Helped me come to that realization. I was very intrigued by how you can use film to tell a story, to report news. And to me, using video as a medium for that kind of storytelling is so interesting and it's so powerful.
For Szabo, few things have more meaning than being a watchdog for the URI community.
Being a reporter for the campus, for this university, and like being able to provide information to the people you're going to school with and being that voice, being, it really has meant something to me. Something that really fulfills me is being able to have someone trust me to tell their story.
Her work at the Cigar has helped with her news internship too.
I was very, very grateful to go into that internship with all of my Cigar experience. And yeah, but that internship has really, it's meant everything to me.
And her answer to the big question,
am I ready? I am ready. There's no doubt in my mind that this is what I want to do, that this is what I was meant to do, and I'm just really excited to do good work.
We really are going to miss Sophia and Layla so much and wish them the best of luck in their next chapters and beyond. That's all we have for you this week and this semester at the 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. As always, check us out at rhodycigar.com and follow us on Twitter at Rhody Cigar. It has been an absolute honor to serve as this year's newscast editor, and I could not be more proud of every single person who's contributed to our newscast and its success. Be sure to tune in this fall to stay up to date on the latest URI news. Reporting from Kingston for one last time, I'm Imani Fleming. Stay safe, Rhody. I could put them together. Yeah. All good. Thank you.